for Illuvitars, just have fun. But I really want to see, for me personally, I want to see people kind of show off their style.
What is going on, Metaverse? Animositas here, and I'm really excited to be joined by TSG. He's a great content creator from the Illuvium universe, and we're going to talk all things Illuvitars today. TSG, how's it going, mate?
I am good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. We've been chatting for like 45 minutes before this, so we kind of covered a lot. But no, I'm excited. I'm really proud of what you're doing, man. I really want to give you some flowers as well.
Thank you. And I have to say, you know, for those that haven't checked it out, TSG and Scoriax have a really great augment clip on Fridays focused on Illuvium, and his content is just awesome. If you want to get down deep into what's going on with the Illuvium game system, give him some likes and some subscribes, and we'll try to do a little bit more collaboration in the future. So we're really looking 100%. Forward to this. As we talked in advance, Illuvitars are definitely going to be the hot item over the next couple months here in the Illuvium ecosystem, and there's so much to get into. So for those that are interested today, we're going to talk everything Illuvitars. We're going to talk the overall costs for the Illuvitars. We're going to talk the tier lists. So if you haven't checked them out, both TSG and I have our own Illuvitar tier list. We have very different approaches to it, and so you know, we'll talk a little bit about how that's set up. And I know we're going to talk about the timing. Everyone wants to know when are Illuvitars dropping, hopefully soon, but looking forward to that. We've got a little bit of speculation on the utility for the Illuvitars. So there's a little bit of teasing from Kieran on potential utility that we hadn't heard about in the past. So we'll speculate a little bit. At the very end, we've got a little bit of alpha for the box opening for the Illuvitars. So stick around with us. You won't want to miss that. So TSG, awesome. What let me just get your initial impressions. I know Illuvitars are kind of the last idea that many people think about in the Illuvium space. We think about the overworld and the arena and Illuvium Zero with the lands. Illuvitars are kind of just out there as this profile picture, but what's your impression of them as part of the broader ecosystem?
So man, that's a really good question already. So no, Illuvitars in general, I'll be completely honest, and I want to kind of put this disclaimer out. I'm not going to claim to be like an expert at any of this. I'm just going to share my personal like thoughts and opinions. So for me personally, Illuvitars, I'm more, if I had to compare land, Illuvium Zero and Illuvitars, I'm more excited for Illuvitars. Just because it seems like when I look at it, it's like, man, I wasn't that interested in the land, but I had so much fun doing it. Like just the entertainment value of kind of getting together on stream, posting the land, kind of sniping, all of that was really, really fun for land. So now I'm kind of imagining what it's going to be like for Illuvitars. And Illuvitars is actually a collectible. Like it's meant to be, yo, who can collect what? What can you do? I'm excited for Illuvitars just based on like what's the word? Like when you're showing, okay, I'm gonna dumb it down. I'm gonna say showing off your personality, the customization. I think that's what I'm really excited for. Like, because you've got the collectability side, which is, yo, let's buy it, let's not open it, let's not customize it, and maybe in 3 to 5 years, once these sets are impossible to get anymore, they might be valuable. Like that collectible side there is obviously inherent. But the second thing, the thing that I'm actually the most excited about is having like personalities in the space like myself, like you, Scariox, Vetamore, Vulcan, Seaton, even Kieran, right? Or like the co-founders, Roger, things like that, like these big names in the space already for Illuvium, having these set ones and customizing it specifically to their personalities. And as far as I'm aware, like once you've bonded an accessory, it's kind of there forever. You can't unbond it and change it. So I like that idea because I'd hate to see someone saying, oh, Kieran got this hat, let me change mine to match him. And I'm like, that's kind of stupid because I don't know, I'm big in hip hop and fashion and style is like a really important thing, right? It's like, yo, you need to show who you are. And I think that ability with Illuvitars is just going to be a massive thing down the line, like kind of seeing the different personalities and what they do and the trends they set. And so maybe someone who follows me might want to copy one of my things. Someone that follows you might copy one of your things. And it's just the fun, and I think the culture we can build. I think that's the thing, because I'm figuring it out as I say this. I think Illuvitars have a much higher chance of building an actual culture in the Illuvium space than the land does. And I'm very interested to see how that plays out in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The overall approach that people are going to use to create their brands in Illuvium, as you said, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a founder or a developer within the project, or let's say that you specialize in your coaching or gameplay, Frobe or some of
Yeah,
those guys.
Zeptile, yeah, all
Yeah,
those guys.
Zeptile, they're going to have their own brands, and presumably they're going to be using their Illuvitars to brand that once those become available. I mean, you're not going to want to use a logo if you've got this absolutely tricked out Ramfire who's, he's your image, or, if you're Scoriox and you actually have your Scoriox Illuvitar, I think that definitely makes sense, because in Web3, your virtual brand is your brand. Just like, if you're, got a Gucci bag, or, you drive a Lambo or whatever that is, right? In the real world, this is your chance to have that ultimate flex, in game, in any game across the Illuvium universe.
And it's wild because I'm so against the whole and it's very thoughtful that you said that, and I'm so against. It's wild. Like, my wife's outside and like, I cuss her out. I'm like, yo, why do you buy Louis Vuitton? Like, it makes no sense. Like, but at the same time, when it comes to this online, like, I'm so for it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, yo, I'll be legit, be like, yo, you spent how much on that? And here I am, like, buying land, and like, again, now I'm gonna go crazy. I think, personally, I'm gonna go crazier on Illuvitars than I did land. Just because I think it's just gonna be fun, man. Like, for me, it's just the fun aspect and the cultural aspect. I think it's gonna be interesting as hell to see how it plays out.
I have to say, also for me, Illuvitars was not the topic that I was most interested in, but the trailer for me was absolutely lit. And I have to say, I kind of approached Illuvitars as this is going to be more or less like any other profile picture drop, NFT drop for another project. And I kind of forgot for a little while that when Illuvium and the team get a hold of anything, they don't stop at like great quality. They're like, we've got to go way over and above, and this thing has to be absolutely the best avatar that any project has put out ever. And it's going to have utility and all those things. So we'll talk about those later. For those that haven't seen the the actual trailer itself, though, I'm going to pull it up here. Once you actually start this thing up and you see Doka, this is absolutely unbelievable.
Yo, look at him. Whew. Madness.
And then Ramfire walks out.
Yeah, wild. Yo, this is for a profile picture like project. Like, what is going on, man?
Yeah. So here at the end, they throw in a few of the different Illuvitars that you can go look at them. We're going to switch over and actually show the batch ones in a minute here, and kind of talk through them in our ranking list. When you presented your rankings, what were some of the ways that you actually went and looked at them? Because I went through and watched your video. You kind of did
that was a long video, man. I appreciate that.
It was a long video. But I may have skipped a few parts in the middle, but I did go through all of your top tier and some of your lower tier ones. What was your approach to thinking about how people are going to value the Illuvitars?
Okay, so for my video, I did not think about how people are going to value it. I thought about when I put it as my profile picture, legitimately. I was like, all right, what do I value? That was the tier list that I did. Like, what do I think looks cool?
Yeah.
Is this my one? Yeah, it's my one. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
You got it prepped. Yeah. And so for me personally, this is just me. And based on the feedback that I got, it seems like a few people agree with me, but some people did call me up for putting like this, the polar bear at the bottom. They're like, yo, that should be way higher. Favorites. Yeah. Fiery as well. Scarix came at me for that one. The end of mid tier with the I forget the name, the octopus. They say he shouldn't have been there. But like, I think at the top, if you see all of the things at the top, essentially it's just like, I like plain like characters. I don't like it overly done up. I don't like a lot. I think one or two accessories is enough.
Clean.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot cooler. And I think the biggest thing for me is the complementary background to the actual Illuvitar. Like, there's that one Lynx. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The seventh from the top. The blue Lynx with the blue.
Yeah.
Like, that to me just looks awesome. And I might even put that higher, like, honestly. Just like, it complements so well. And if you just get one accessory on that, like a hat or I don't know, a joint or whatever it is, I think that would be perfect. But But that was for me. What do I think people are going to value? Definitely the hollows. And I want to know what you think as well. Like people are definitely going to value the hollows. People are going to value the tier 5s. And I'm keen to have the conversation later as well about the how it's set up with the tier boxes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I want to see what you think, because there's a lot of discussion in the governance chats about that.
For sure.
I don't know how people are going to value it. Some people are just going to. I think you've got two schools of thought here. You've got one, they just want what they like, and I think that's where I'm at. I think I just care what I like, and then you have the other ones that are actually going to go like rare hunting. That want what's the rarest, like the objectively rarest, the T5s or the hollows. And
so let me dig into this a little bit, because this is one of the big questions I have for you. When you say it's what they like, do you think most people are going to want to get whatever the best looking Illuvitar is of their favorite Illuvial, or are they going to want whatever they think is the best looking Illuvitar? So let's say that you really like Ramfire, or you really like, Rake from a gameplay standpoint or a thematic standpoint, but you're not so keen on his particular look in the Illuvitar.
Well,
do you think people are going to gravitate towards Illuvial or Illuvitar in this space?
Definitely Illuvitar. Because it's like, I like Goliath, but Goliath looks absolute rubbish. Like, just my opinion. Like, I won't say it's rubbish. I won't say rubbish. I won't say rubbish. Yeah, it's just me using vernaculars and whatnot. It's not actually rubbish. I mean, rubbish for Illuvium is still incredible. But I mean, like, it's just like you can't really see his features as well. I don't know, it just seems. And like Axon, so you have Alice and Axon. Axon just looks mad squished. And I love Axon. Axon looks mad in the Illuvitar, but Axon, I don't care too much about it. So I think, and again, when I say me, I kind of assume that if I think this way, there is a group of consumers that think this way too, right?
Sure.
So it might not be the majority, but no, I think definitely, like, it doesn't matter if you have a favorite Illuvial if the Illuvitar doesn't match. So I think it's both. It's like, ideally they'd want their favorite Illuvial compared to their favorite Illuvitar. But if it doesn't work, I think they're just going to go to the next favorite, like whatever one, they'll have their list and be like, all right, this doesn't match, so let me go down to my second one. This does match. That's the one I want. Yeah. That's the way I kind of see people going about it. Do you agree, disagree?
I think that you're going to be right for some people. The part that I think is interesting is, I think I see a fair number that are very much fans of a particular Illuvial. And I'll tell you, so Nina, if you're watching, I'll give you a shout out. She's the one that kind of turned me on to this, that some people are just absolute like ride or die fans of a particular Illuvial, and whether it's from a gameplay standpoint or just the look of them or whatever. And some of them really surprised me. So what I'm showing is the tier list that I put together. This isn't like my own preference. This was just pure sentiment analysis. So I looked at what are people talking about in the Discord servers, what are they referring to, the different affinities or classes that they like. Based on all of that, I built a model, and you can see these were some of the top Illuvials.
Adore is that high up based on community sentiment?
Very surprising to me. But actually, when I ran the video, I've had a lot of people give me comments that some of the Illuvials that I didn't think were going to be that high at all, in particular, Adore, Mamu, and Carablue. I was really surprised.
Is this ordered?
Super popular. What's that?
Is this ordered? Like, it's not ordered, right?
It's not ordered within the tiers. No, except for the S tier. So the S tier is in order. So
Dash is number one?
Yeah. So more people are talking about Dash and Rogues and what is he? Is he a fire type? No. I don't remember what.
Water.
He's water. Yeah, he's water based.
He moves to Steam.
I think he goes to Steam later. Yeah. So that's where, it was really surprising to me. You see a lot of people talk about Atlas. But from a type standpoint, he's not as popular as Dash is. The Rogues are just people are super keen on the Rogues. And I think they probably have the most recognizable mechanic in the game. And that's why you see that. But certainly Atlas is right up there too, as a top 5, no doubt.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I agree with this. If this is community sentiment, I agree. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
Adore surprises me, but everything else kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and I think
Fen and Blaze Knight. I think they're a bit high, but
So, but I think your point is a good one, and I'm also leaning a little bit more this way, having now seen some more of the reveals. So the list that I put out, was about a month ago now. We didn't have a lot of the reveals yet for the Illuvitars, and
yeah.
so in a lot of cases, the Illuvitar imagery looks somewhat different than the actual Illuvials themselves, right? So,
Yeah, I
I
love how
think
you put that so eloquently. Somewhat different. Yeah.
I
Like
think there's,
Kaka looks Kaka's one of my favorite
yeah.
alluvials. But for the Illuvitar, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm not feeling
it's
it
more of a
that
pass
much.
on him. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm with you. I think people are they're gonna kind of choose if they're again 100% on board with whatever the alluvial, they may just go for the Illuvitar anyways.
Mm,
And so I think in that case, probably the tier list that I put together makes sense for people to look at if they're wanting to like buy and hold on to them, so
yeah.
that they can maybe sell to people that join the game 2 years from
Yeah.
now or 10 years from now.
Mhm.
Um, but if you're going for for yourself, do whatever makes you happy, right? You've got a chance to to get in, and this first wave, it's actually kind of limited, right? I was a little bit surprised. They showed that batch number one, as far as I know, only has 25
Yeah.
Illuvitars in that first batch. So
Yeah.
bear with me, and I'll pull this up. You can see the first few groups.
Technically 75 if you consider the expressions.
That's fair. There's different variations of
Every
these.
Illuvitar will
Yeah,
have 3
good point.
expressions. So
Good point.
technically 75. If you want a full collection, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah. That's right. So I think from this group, I also was doing a quick pass. For those that are not familiar, you can see the tier on the top of the Illuvitar. So Atlas,
Mhm,
for instance, he's got 1 bar here. That means he's a tier 1. The
mhm,
Lynx is a tier 2. Slashing is a tier 3. 3 bars at the top denote that.
mhm.
I did a quick scan as well, and so to your point, um, if we multiply it by 3, we've got 3 tier 5s in Squiz, Ramfire, and Goliant that are here. So again, let's call that 15.
Mhm.
We've got 4 tier 4s. We've also got 4 tier 3s, and then you've got the rest as tier 1s and tier 2s. So
Mhm.
any thoughts on that distribution? We don't have many options for the tier boxes as I thought we have in
Yeah.
this first pass.
Yeah. So that's why I think I'll use this to kind of transition us into the IIP chat about how the tier boxes are going to go. Like, because I don't know how consumers it's a tough one. Like I don't know how consumers are going to feel about because like all of the big ones essentially like for the low tiers, tier 1 and tier 2s, you have oh there you go, you're bringing it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like a lot of the tier 1s and tier 2s have like there's a lot of Lynxes. They're still good Illuvitars for sure. But I mean like your Radfire is a tier 5, your Squiz is a tier 5. And it's like your Slashing is a tier 3, which I'm happy about. But like a lot of those really
Yeah.
big ones are tier 5s. And it's like
Hmm.
not many people are gonna get those at all. So
Right.
it's like, man, like if you have a look, bronze has a 0.4% chance, silver has a 1%, gold has a 3%, platinum has 12%, and diamond
Hmm.
has 50. And I think the average consumer is not buying a diamond tier box,
No, for sure
right?
not.
So I wonder what the community consensus is going to be there. And like it's been brought up a couple of times, and I actually really like this idea. And I wonder what you think about it and what people think about it is. They kind of said that instead of making the tier 5s rarer per se, kind of have one tier box, like one tier
Mm.
box where it has a set of percent chance. So let's say it is a tier 5 always has a 3% chance, and then it goes down. Let's say we use the gold as the standard, right? You have a 25% chance for tier
Mhm.
1, 40% for tier 2, 30 for tier whatever. Like, we use that as the basic.
Mhm.
And everyone has that. And the way that we differentiate what's rare or not is based on hollows, just like Pokemon cards, right? You don't buy a special pack of Pokemon cards to get a higher chance of getting a Charizard. Uh, like every pack has the same chance of getting that. And then it's, do you get the hollow? Do you get the dark hollow? Do you get the hollow like background? Whatever it is, right? And kind of have that be the rarity. So with the distribution, I think of the way you kind of say like the tier 5s, tier 4s, I think that might be able to negate that and make it accessible and I think enjoyable for everyone. But I don't know if there's like a negative effect or if there's a positive effect of what they're doing it for the DAO and revenue and things like that. What do you think, man? Like, what are your thoughts there? Because it's a lot. It's a lot for me to kind of.
Yeah, for sure. So I think going back to kind of first principles, my goal, if I'm Illuvium, if I'm one of the council members, I would say I want to ensure that the process of purchasing and owning an Illuvitar is a positive for every person that engages with the mechanic, right? They're putting in money, and in some cases large amounts of money. The only way that I think you can get that is to have a more deterministic approach to what you're getting. And so what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with the term from a gaming standpoint, if you're designing something that's pure random, right, and you have no control over the outcome at all, that as a gamer, that usually has a negative feel to it. Okay. As a gambler, a degenerate, maybe it's exciting, right? You get that dopamine shot when you win, but you only get it when you win. Yeah. And as humans, we know that losing hurts about 3 times as much as winning feels good. Okay. You have to win 3 times as much as you lose in order to feel like you broke even. That's not to feel good about something. That's just to win. Yeah. That's why, games, when you have like an ELO system and you're winning half the time and losing half the time, people don't like that because you're losing too much relative to your win rate to actually enjoy the mechanic. Yeah. And I think this is the case that we have to be careful as a community. You want people to leave feeling good about what they did. And so in my mind, the randomization should be the specific Illuvial or Illuvitar in this case, and maybe the expression. Yeah. But I don't really like the chance to get a lower tier. I actually hate the chance to get a lower tier. If you're purchasing a tier 5 box, in this case Diamond, it should be 100% tier 5 minimum. You reckon? Now, if you're purchasing a platinum box, I'm fine if we say it's an 85% chance for platinum and a 15% chance for tier 5 or 90-10 or whatever that is. So I'm okay if you get a chance to get a higher tier. Yeah. That's going to be a really positive experience for some small percentage of people that do. And imagine if you get a bronze box, and we can use this number. Let's say it's a 0.4% chance of getting a tier 5, and you get a Ramfire at that. You were like sold. You're going to be playing this game for months. But if you buy a diamond and you get a tier 1, you're out. I mean, you spent $3,000 to get something that you're feeling like, well, I could have just gotten that for for $50 with a bronze box. It's a super negative experience, and I think you don't want to have that happen.
Yeah. What are your thoughts then on I'll say like 2 options, right? Because I'll say 2 options, and I kind of want to see where you go. So let's say the first option, like the one that I said, where there's not a bronze, silver, gold, platinum, there's just one tier, and the percentage chances are kind of determined already. It doesn't change. So everyone has the same kind of thing. And the thing that we go by rarity is, like I say, the expressions maybe, or the hollows, or like that's the thing where it's like, oh, yo, we got the crazy win. Because you might get a Ramfire that's not a hollow and you're still happy with that. But so that's one option, just one tier box. The second is, let's say, because I think the whole idea of pay to win is a thing that consumers also don't like, right? So it's like, oh man, you have money, so if you buy a diamond, you guaranteed a T5. That's kind of BS. And I get it from the company side, where it makes the DAO side where it obviously like that's a better way to generate revenue, right? But the community sentiment also, it does play a part on how the perception of the project is. Like it matters. So what if, for example, let's say platinum and diamond, you're not guaranteed a tier 5, but the lowest you can get is a tier 3, and it can't go lower than that. And it just increases the chance of a tier 4, tier 5. Instead of saying if you get a diamond, you're guaranteed a tier 5, the moment you hit platinum, you're guaranteed a tier 3, but then you have a high chance of getting a tier 4 or tier 5. Let's say, I don't know, let's say 70% chance tier 3, 20-10 T4 T5, and then the next one is 80%, 15, and like whatever. Like you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. What are your thoughts on those? If you had to pick out of those 2, or would you still go for the third option where you say if you get a diamond, you get guaranteed a T5?
So I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to say the flaw in that thinking is that approach assumes that our target audience are degenerate Web3 gamblers and not mainstream gamers. And in my mind, we should be setting up Illuvitars just like everything else that we're setting up in the Illuvium universe to appeal to mainstream gamers as soon as they enter the space, right? I know we're not marketing immediately on day one to mainstream gamers, but if you don't set up Illuvitars just like everything else, just like land, just like, when you're purchasing, on the Illuvidex, Illuvials themselves for battling, if you don't set it up in a way that's appealing to gamers, it's really hard to go back and change that after the fact. And so the question, if maybe I'll challenge you, think about some of your friends that are, they don't know anything about crypto. They're not gamblers. They're just gamers, right? They want to purchase a CSGO skin. Do they want to have a chance to pay $1,000 for a CSGO skin and end up with something that's mid-tier? Hell no. I mean,
but if that's like,
at least a large,
I don't know, I get you.
They're going to be like, yep, I'm out. I didn't sign up for gambling. I'm not, I'm not into that. I want to be able to purchase a particular Illuvitar. Now, I don't think if you have a very specific look that you're going for, you can go buy it on the secondhand market, no problem. But I also think that for us to begin appealing to mainstream gamers, we have to think like a company that's marketing for mainstream gamers and not like a Web3 company. So that's my take on it. I recognize that, at the moment, that's not her primary audience is, but I think we should act like it is, and then it will become our audience over time.
I get you. And that's why I'm super, like, I'm not like standing on any hill to down with this, because obviously there's
agreed. I'm not either. But that's kind of how I would approach it. Again, if I was on the council and we were having this discussion, my question would be, is this going to appeal to a wide variety of gamers and not just
that's honestly why I think the whole one tier box kind of just works. I honestly think that, like, because mainstream gamers understand what a Pokemon pack is, right? Like, it's not a stretch for them to kind of figure that out. Oh man, you get 3 tier 1s. Like, how do Pokemon packs work? You get like 3 commons, 2 rares, and then 1 like ultra rare. And then you're hoping that ultra rare is higher. You're hoping that the ultra rare is a hollow or something, right? So it's the same thing. Maybe you have something like in a
Charizard or something.
So again, something like that. Maybe not multiple Illuvials, or maybe even like 3 Illuvials. Who knows, right? Like, what if you have like a pack or where you have like a couple % chance of tier 1s, tier 1s and tier 2s. So you might get 2 tier 1s, right? Or so, I don't know, like whatever it is. There's multiple things, but that means the whole system needs to be reworked, and it means that we're gonna have to wait longer than we already are.
Probably. I like if someone has a particular Illuvitar, let's say that you like a tier 2, right? And it doesn't really in my mind matter which one, but let's say that you like the links, the virtuous Terra links that's coming out in this very first first iteration. I actually like giving someone a chance to say, okay, if you want to go for that particular tier 2, we're going to give you a tier 2 loot box that maybe it's going to give you something that's more valuable. But like, if you don't care about getting a Rampire, but you're like, I want to just target a tier 2 and I'll buy 3 or 4 tier 2s, as opposed to buying 10 of like the base that, that it's going to eventually give you a tier 2. Like, I don't know. I kind of favor that. But I also, I think there's a lot of RNG already inherent in the expression in the particular Illuvitar. That's why for me, targeting it towards a tier, I think gives people a better feeling that you've got a little more control over the process. And you spend what you want, But again, I don't think it's not a hill that I'm willing to die on either. I can see arguments in both directions.
They're all like, right now it's just thought experiments, right? It's like, we think this is going to happen. We assume behavior is going to be like that. But I am keen to see how it works out, because the conversation is pretty heated in the governance chat.
For sure.
So I'm keen to see what actually goes down.
Yeah. So let's pivot a little bit. So another conversation that actually hasn't been going as long, because this discussion has been going for months about the cost. Something that just leaked about a week or so ago. I think Kieran posted it on Twitter and Discord. There's some additional utility coming to Illuvitars. What is this about?
TSG,
do you think?
What do you think?
So I have no alpha. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've got some speculation.
Yeah.
I've got a few ideas. I've got maybe a wish list
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'd like to
Go
see.
for it.
So the first thing that I would say, maybe this is a little bit of alpha. On the original Illuvitars page, this was hidden like in, page 47 of like one of the documents. There was a line that said the Illuvitars will be in game in the arena, your sort of companions. So they're not fighting like the other Illuvials are, but they're actually
like
there dancing around, talking with you, engaging with you in the same way that you see in like TFT and some other games like that. I think, and I don't know that a lot of people picked up on that. I only saw like one post on it, and then like that was it. I haven't seen it since. I'm wondering if this might be part of it. Whether there's actually like combat advantages in the arena, I don't know. But
I hope not.
I think if I
I
had
hope
to
not
guess,
for
this
combat.
is probably the utility. Is it's going to be more engaged in the arena and or in the overworld with you. Maybe as a companion sidekick in addition to Mozart. What do you think?
I really hope that it's not going to be combat combat advantages, because again, because then it leads to the whole point of like, if you have money to buy a T5 and the bonus is more, you can be like, yo, what the hell is this? So I hope it's not combat. I think if it's just a fun side thing, an accessory thing, I think if it's, as long as it's the flex, fine. The moment it starts to be affect the gameplay, I'm like, nah, I'm not for that. What do I think the utility is? I like that thing that you kind of mentioned. I completely missed that, and it was brought up in a podcast that I was doing, or whether I was invited on, I forget who. And they mentioned that, and I was like, that was crazy. I didn't even know that. I like that idea of like having a cheerleader. Like imagine having like an Atlas where, again, your Atlas where you've decked it out, and he's kind of just like chilling out, bouncing up, popping up and down, kind of supporting. That's sick. I think that's cool as a visual, especially for content creators when they record and like put out their content. Like no one can kind of jack your content, and not that it happens anyway, but it's kind of like it's like a watermark, but in the game. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, that's definitely your thing.
That's definitely TSG's stream.
Right. I think that's really, really cool. So I think that's cool. The utility, like the thing that they're kind of mentioning now is more like, oh, we're turning it into a game of some kind. I want to preface this by saying I don't think it's going to be like a game like Illuvium 0. I think some people are getting their hopes up, thinking that it's actually going to be like a full game around it. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's just going to be like a mini, but also Illuvium 0 is meant to be a mini game, right? So like you say, anything Illuvium touches, they go 1,000% with that shit. So I don't know, man, because I've had the chat with Vulcan, with Scariox. I don't know. I was happy with it just being a profile project. Like, and I'm not saying I don't want anything extra to come with it, but I just don't even know what I'd want from it, to be completely honest.
So I've got two thoughts, right? And this, you can maybe chalk this up as wish list. I don't know or think these might be the case. So the first one is Illuvium 0. I would like to see my Illuvitar. Let's say that, I don't know, let's say I get this awesome squiz. I want to see him out there working on my base for me when I can't log in, to gather my resources and, queue things up additionally in my land, right? So if I'm busy, he's going to be there helping me get 5% efficiency or whatever it is from my lands, and I've got my Illuvitar linked through my wallet to the land that I own, right? So this is number one. Number two is in the overworld. What if your Illuvitar, let's say I've got that same squiz, he can go out and basically be a mission runner for you. So he can go out and gather some additional resources. He's not going to capture alluvials. Let's not go overboard, but like, let's say that there's some particular type of, plant or, mineral or whatever that you need to go out and pick up. You can send him off to, run missions for you, on the side while you're not in game, even maybe while you are. And, every 6 hours he comes back and brings whatever into your wallet that he was able to go out and gather. And, that would be, I think, probably an engaging mechanic people would like, and it's not going to, I think, break the balance of the game in any major way, right? If there's no major advantage in having a tier 5 versus a tier 1, maybe it's a 5% increase in efficiency or speed or something. It's not going to be game breaking, but it's also a nice little touch to have available for the Illuvitar.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you cap them at, I think it's actually pretty smart what you're saying as well. and I'll explain why. So I think if you cap it and make it a general 5% increase for your Illuvium Zero or for Illuvium Overworld, if you kind of generalize it and say, okay, every single Illuvitar, doesn't matter if you have a tier 1 or a tier 5, it gives you the same benefit. I think that's really, really good. Okay, yeah, I was thinking about something, but I just changed my mind. So I think that's really, really good. And even if you do that for the T0s, like the free Illuvitars, because then it incentivizes people that aren't using it already. I don't see why they wouldn't, but it incentivizes them to start getting into the Illuvitar kind of marketplace, right? And once they're in that marketplace, then they can say, oh, yo, maybe I might buy this one from someone else. Maybe I might do this from someone else. So giving everyone maybe even like a 2%, where it's not so game changing, but it's a benefit, right?
That's right.
And so because you're doing it for free as well, you can leave, like, you're not leaving people out. Like, because I know they're trying to keep it always fair. And that's why I was trying to say maybe have 5% when I paused. I was going to say maybe do like 3 or 5% for T1s and upwards, and then maybe a 2% for T0. But I was like, that's not fair. Let's just make it the same and let people decide if they want to buy more or if they want to stick with the free one. But I think that's a good marketing tool to possibly incentivize people to get into that Illuvitar ecosystem. So I think it's a wish list for sure, but that would be really, really cool. I would love to see that happen. Look at you, man. You should get a marketing position.
Yeah, man. And you know, the other piece that I kind of thought about too is, and this might be going too deep, but each of the Illuvitars is going to have a specific affinity, or you know, maybe 2 affinities, depending on what evolution they are. It also might be interesting to see advantages if your Illuvitar is centered around the type of land plot. So let's say that you're in Crimson Waste and you've got a Ramfire. Maybe he gets a bonus for engaging in whatever the mechanics are, whether you're on Illuvium Zero on the land or you're in the overworld in the Crimson Waste region traveling around. And maybe there's some additional type of mechanics that are engaged there based on the type of Illuvitar that you've got, or maybe even class. I mean, I think that type makes more sense based on regions with the affinity, but I think that could be an interesting mechanic that they could play with. It wouldn't be too complex.
I think that's very, very cool. The only issue I see with that is at the beginning where there's only 2 regions. So it's going to heavily favor those types. Right. So I think once all of the regions are open, then kind of if you can open that up, that'd be cool. Because then it's like
maybe we'll put maybe we'll throw that in Discord on the Game Ideas channel for after launch, and we get all the regions spun up.
Because I think that makes cool. And again, it incentivizes people to have multiple Illuvitars, right? And then they can switch between them. Yo, I'm going to be spending today in Taiga Boreal. Let me put my slashing in. I think slashing belongs there, or the polar bear at least.
That's for sure. The polar bear does.
So things like that. I think these are really good ideas. As for the actual game utility that they mentioned, I don't actually know, man. I can't really pinpoint and say, maybe I'm just not that creative. Or maybe I just don't care. I just want to collect them. Honestly, I think the collecting and customization is game enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm hella basic.
I think the interesting part, and you mentioned this at the start of the video, the land sale, I was shocked because it ended up being a spectacle in and of itself. And that was the word I used when I went on Venomor's cast and we did the recap. I said, I think everyone expected it to be a spectacle in the negative way, but it actually was in the positive sense of the term. And what I mean is, we turned a mint, and I say we as the Illuvium community, we turned a mint that usually is kind of a debacle of gas fees, and people are really disappointed by what they got.
We turned that shit into a party,
a super exactly, a super engaged community. We had 24-hour streams running. The team really, they had an amazing UI UX engagement with Immutable, and things were just smooth as you can imagine. I'd love to see something like that for Illuvitars as well here. And, a little bit of alpha maybe for those that have stuck around this long with us. We've already been having some discussions among some of the streamers. We're leaning towards doing something similar for the Illuvitars and the purchasing and unboxing. More details to be forthcoming in some future videos and posts and so on. But I can tell already, we've had a lot of requests. People want to see the streamers and the team unbox their Illuvitars when they get them and see what they ended up with. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to see that as we get further into the sale here.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, don't worry, we're looking into it as the streaming community for Illuvium.
Yeah, I think again, like, man, it was okay. Like, being straight, net positive for content creators. The land sale was massive. Like, us collaborating, streaming, like, all of us got a spike in subscribers. All of us, like, it was really good for that side of things. But more importantly, it was fun. Like, honestly, it was the most fun I've had in a long time. Like,
it was awesome.
3 days of, man, I was staying up till 5 a.m. like talking to people on Discord. And then I jumped on like multiple streams, and I had people kind of say like, jump with me, be like, yo, TSG left this stream to come here, I'm here now. And I'm like, yes, man, what's up? So like, it was crazy. It was just mad fun jumping to different streams, kind of talking your shit, bouncing. And it was fun because like some streams were super analytical, some streams were just having a good time. And I think, again, for land sale, which is a much bigger purchases, which was much crazier, I think if we had that much fun on land sale, where you can't custom, like, that was just random. You buy it and it's just random. That's it. It's done. You can't customize anything. Whereas now with the Illuvitars, it's like, man, you can customize it. Imagine if I get my little hat on. I want the hat, obviously. Like, so it's like, oh, if you get the hat on, like that's sick. I'd be like, man, my guy looks like me. Yo, like, Zeptile, I'm calling Zeptile out. Zeptile's finna have a cigarette. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, it's just like, yo, it is what it is. And it'd be cool. It'd be like, man, you got the cigarette? Yo, I got a cigarette. Let me give it to you. You know what I mean? It'd just be like fun trading, and
for sure.
Let's help each other build. And again, I just think it's awesome for the community and the culture. And I'm so excited for Illuvitars. I legitimately need to stock up on not SLP, Sylv. I'm looking to stock up on some Sylv too. To go pretty hard on, and I shouldn't go this hard on Illuvitars, but I think I will.
you're gonna get sucked in for sure.
100%.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
No, your point is really valid. These first actions that we're seeing with the land mints and now with the Illuvitars, this is the first really substantial way that the community and the developers are engaging outside of just talking about ideas for the game, right? And so this is the first time that, you know, we're able to engage as the community. And I think it's really powerful the way that you see that overall community drive and the way that things are being put together, because that's what's going to determine if the project is successful. You have to turn investors and gamers and customers into fans in order to have a sustainable approach. And you can look at any other IP. Let's talk about Pokemon, for instance. When you've got a TV show, you've got 50 different versions of the games, you've got merchandise. At some point, every person that's really engaged with the Pokemon IP, there wasn't one particular moment, but there were probably some key milestones that made meaningful differences to people. And maybe it was the first time you beat.
I'm curious, what was the big thing for Pokemon for you?
Yeah, so I remember distinctly watching the TV show growing up. That was a big thing. I've got 3 younger brothers, and so we would watch it together, as kind of as a family. And I think the timing was such that we would like watch it right before school or whatever. Yeah, that was when it came on, and so that kind of became a routine. Yeah. And so like that becoming part of your day every day, builds connection. Yeah. With the community. Also for me, it was there was beating some very specific gym leaders that were challenging, and there were capturing some very specific Pokemon. Yeah, he was solid. Yeah. But I love the psychic Pokemon type, and so like whenever I was able to capture an Abra, Kadabra, get all the way up to Alakazam, that was like for me, okay, it's go time now. Yeah. Whenever I was playing with the original kind of Genesis versions of the games, and so. Like there were very specific Pokemon that I captured that built that connection with me. Yeah. And I think, as you said, if you buy an Illuvitar and like that becomes your thing, I mean, you can look, you got my ETH lizard right behind me on the wall. Like we love, seeing very specific graphics that we are tied to us in the space. And I think you're going to see the same with Illuvitars. Yeah. What about you?
Well, for Pokemon, for me, the Pokemon thing was, man, we bought my parents, my dad bought a a Nintendo 64, and it was like the Pokemon one,
Okay.
where I had like a Pokemon decal on it.
Oh, it's like a
It was like a
theme.
theme
Yeah.
pack, yeah, and it came with a VHS. That's how old it was. It came with like a VHS of like 2 or 3 episodes of Pokemon, and it was the Lieutenant Surge one episode. So
Mm.
I didn't actually even have a VHS at my crib, but so we brought it to my grandma's crib, and every time we were at my grandma's house, which was pretty much every weekend, we would just
Yeah.
replay the same episodes again and again and again. And it's
Nice.
like,
Yeah,
even though you know what's gonna happen, you kind of just love that. Yeah. So that was the thing for
that's
Pokemon.
right.
Yeah, and man, I'm like you say about the whole thing that represent us. I think again, I feel so lucky because I love my lizard. I have a few lizards, so but like my lizard, the one that I use as my profile picture, the one that kind of represents me, I feel like that suits me to a T. Like I'm the biggest Harry Potter fan. So the fact that he has the wizard hat and like the
Mm.
magical orbs around it as well is sick. The
Right.
orbs are purple, which is my favorite. Like my 2 favorite colors are green and purple. So
Okay.
it's like, well, what does my thing actually look like? Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at it now. So the background is purple, my favorite color. The orbs are purple. It's a wizard with magic around him. He's a green lizard, which is my favorite. There's nothing on it. I like the plain stuff. I've already said that. And he's just got
Yeah.
a big ass smile. Like if that
Yeah.
doesn't represent me to a
If
T,
that's not like TSG,
yo, dead set. I got that, and I
100%.
was like, yo, if that doesn't represent me to a T, I don't know what does. And I was like, yo, done.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm never gonna sell. Like it's just, and I want to do the same
Right.
thing with like if I get an Archie with straight up with like with a joint or and the hat, right, where he's just chilled, he's not
Mhm.
doing anything, but he represents like that hip hop side. I would
Sure.
imagine an Archie or an Atlas in hip hop. Like that's gangster. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's gangster as hell. So
We've got like 500 viewers who are now going to be immediately out there trying to snipe all of those
yeah,
before you
right.
get a chance to buy.
Yeah,
it
I'm
for
just gonna see a
yourself.
whole bunch of hip hop eyes, like Illuvitars going around the
That's right.
marketplace. Be like, yo, TSG, buy one now.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that's what I'm looking forward to, man. And that again, and like when we go back to the land sale and talk about the 2 different things, the land sale had 20,000 land plots of land or 1,990 998 because of the
98. Yeah. That's right.
whatever like specifics, but and the starting price was quite high already, like for the general consumer, whereas these Illuvitars are free. Like the lowest price is free, which means
Yes.
that we should technically get a lot more attention on this. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I would love to see it generate more than the 72 million. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. What do you think? Well, what do you think? Like, is it going to reach half of that? Like, what are you kind of speculating here? And it's hard because we don't
Yeah.
really know
So
data. It's kind of just it's like trying to
it
analyze
is.
consumer.
And I think
Yeah,
not knowing the prices also
yeah,
it makes it really difficult because we got to wait and see what
yeah.
the what
Official.
the boxes are.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a strong sense of dollars. I would think that we're going to be more, probably fractions, so 10-20% of what the land sale
Mhm.
did, just because there isn't a defined ROI
Yes.
on the Illuvitars in the same way that, I mean, land is basically paying you back as an owner and an operator from the in-game fuel
Yeah.
that's used in the
Yeah.
overworlds and to capture things. So in general, I don't think you're going to see nearly as much. I do think that you'll see a lot of engagement. And the piece that you kind of alluded to that I would actually encourage people to look at is how many people actually mint out a tier 0 or higher.
Mhm.
So total number of users and of
It's gonna be
people that
nuts.
engage with the Illuvitars is, in my mind, a very good proxy for how many people are going to be playing Illuvium at launch day.
Yes.
Because if as you said, it's free, right? I mean, there's probably going to be a small gas fee,
Yeah.
but like if
Say 5,
you're
10
going to pay,
bucks.
$5 or
Yeah.
$3 or whatever, it is to mint and a tier 0, if you're engaged in the community, that number of unique wallets or the number of, let's say unique people that engages, that's your starting user base, your starting gamer number. So for anyone, this is a little bit of alpha too. If you're trying to run numbers for RevDis and ROI, whether you're looking at land or ILV
That's a
tokens,
good.
SLP token staking, that's the first time we're going to have an actual number of people that have gone in and paid even just a little bit in terms of gas to engage in the gameplay.
Yeah.
And so I am definitely going to be watching that myself to see what the numbers look like and updating some of my own calculations for it. So a little bit of alpha for you there. Again, if you stuck with us this long,
keep an eye on the unique wallets that mint out.
That's right.
Very true. Very good information. Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, good. So, last question, TSG. What are your predictions for when we're going to see the Illuvitars drop? I know
tomorrow.
We don't know exactly, but
now, honestly,
I hope not. We gotta figure out some of the streaming before.
Yeah. It's like tomorrow. Yo, Scar. Yeah. I'm so glad because I think Scarx is going to take it upon himself to do all the organizing because I'm not. That's not what I do. I think when I'm going to say next month. My thought process
for those watching, we're talking about August. Then,
August. Yeah. So so again, the consumer in me says that I want it in July. Obviously, end of July is what I want. What I think logically is going to happen is going to be no later than mid next month. The reason I say that, and I wish I could actually like look back and analyze some previous data, but like the way marketing works is you don't want to put something out and then kind of just leave it. It makes no sense to do that. So with them putting out the trailer and the website, it seems like they're starting to ramp up. So within the next 6 weeks, I think makes sense. They're going to have some, I'm sure. And like for those that do keep up, AWOL, Andrew, who used to be head of marketing, who's now head of like the content side of things for Illuvium. He made that transition. And again, I think that transition, for those that look into it, is showing that they're prepping and really coming up with a whole bunch of content for Illuvitars. So they're going to roll that out, maybe a couple of videos a week. I think within 3 to 6 weeks is my guess. 3 to 6 weeks is my guess. And it is like what I've said that twice. And let me repeat that line that Joe Biden, let me repeat that line. I don't know if did you see that where he read? Yes.
I saw it. Yeah.
That is my guess. I am guessing here that it's about 3 to 6 weeks. That's my educated kind of assumption. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I do agree. So I've got sort of penciled in, pencil, not pen.
Repeat that line.
Last full week in July, first full week first week in August time period is when I'm, kind of generally expecting, and I would say, like you, I think they're going to ramp it up over the next couple weeks with the marketing. I could see maybe July 30th, 31st, August 1st time period or something, and then I think what you're going to see is batch 1 will drop. Shortly after that, give it a couple weeks or so, we're going to begin to see the Illuvium 0 alpha launch. So as you said, you want to keep things, pretty consistent pace as far as, topics dropping. And I know that puts us outside of the 4 to 8 week window for Illuvium 0. Again, just speculating, but I think we're going to be closer to middle or late August for that. And then I would expect you'll probably see batch 2 and batch 3 drop before the game itself launches for the Illuvitars. Just my guess. I don't know that. And I haven't heard anyone else say that. Maybe you have, but that's my speculation as far as timing.
All right. So I'm legitimately doing some research right now. Essentially, all right. So what I've seen, all right. Okay. So this somewhat makes sense. So I'm having a look at what they kind of dropped, and this doesn't mean anything, but I'm looking at what they dropped leading up to the land sale. So they had all the Illuvium regions explored. That was on May 27th. And then they had another thing on May 27th. So 2 on one day. Then they had one 4 days later. And they had one like a week later. And then the land sale came out. So if we have a look at that, it's like every 5 days, give or take, 5 to 6 days, they start releasing content around it to build it up. Let's say we had the trailer out in July 5th. I think we're going to wait about a week and a bit. It's now July 10th. So that's about 5 days. I think wait another 4 days, 4, 5. Again, this is complete speculation. But I just understand how marketing goes, and you kind of want to keep that going. So I think give it 4 or 5 days, we'll start to see things start ramping up. And after that, every 6 days, we should see something. I'm hoping. Again, that's just complete speculation, but based on what they've done before, it seems like it's valid to say that's probably what we're going to see again. Similarly, yeah. So I think it's been 5 days. I think a couple more days, a week more with nothing, and then just every 4 or 5 days after that, because they'll let this sit for a while, and then they'll start ramping up.
Yeah,
Again, speculation.
I think that's right. Yeah. No, but I think the approach is right. Whether we're correct on the dates or not is TBD. But no, I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
So good. So I think this is really exciting times to be watching the project. We've talked a little bit about the overall launch timing, and there's a lot of discussions going on in governance for let's say modular rollouts versus the Big Bang type of rollout for the rest of the content. I don't know that we want to get into all that right now, but generally, I think it's nice that there's enough content that's going to be coming that every month or every few weeks or so, you're seeing something new. You're seeing, the land sale. You've got Illuvitars coming. Private beta is expanded, and we've had some recent patches out for that. You've already seen gameplay footage drop now for the overworld. So because the studio is large enough, you're not only waiting on one particular project or one element to be coming out. And there's a big advantage there in the space where most gaming developers in Web3, they have one title that they're building. And so they're really resigned to just, kind of marketing that particular title. Now you've got, I'm going to say 3 full-fledged titles. I know Illuvium 0 is a mini game, but it's a substantial mini game.
Essentially, it's a game now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game in itself, and now you've got Illuvitars as a 4th key element. So I think good on the team for putting that much content together for us. Looking forward to seeing how that timing shapes up. So TSG, last thoughts on Illuvitars? Anything you want to leave our audience with as suggestions or ideas before we wrap this up?
I'm excited. For you guys, for the audience, I don't know, man. Just have fun. Like, don't think too. I mean, I won't say don't think too much. That's a horrible thing to say. But just be patient. That's what I'll say. I'll say be patient. It seems like everyone's kind of just saying when. The shit that they're doing is, again, like from the stuff that we've already got from the developers, they're not trying to rug us, right? Like we've already seen that. It's proven. Have a bit of faith in them. Without that, it's just, there's nothing. So, but for Illuvitars, just have fun. I kind of hope that, I know this is just wishful thinking. I know people will end up playing a meta. They'll say, oh, this thing is the most valuable, so they'll get that. But I really want to see, for me personally, I want to see people kind of show off their style. I want to see people kind of really like build out their thing and kind of build their little brand and kind of just go with that. I think that's going to be exciting because we'll always know, oh man, the Atlas with the monoscope is the thing that keeps killing me in battle. Like I can't beat him. I think that would be cool. But I think just have fun, man, and just show off your style. That's what I'm excited for. Don't awesome. Stay true to yourselves, guys. Don't follow a meta. Like show us what you really think. Show us what you really feel. I think that's the coolest shit anyone could do, in my opinion. Yeah.
No, I think that's great advice. What I would say is be intentional about how you're approaching this in the same way that virtually everyone I talked to with the land sale, the structure was set up in a way to allow you to be successful. Right? Unlike so many projects in Web3 that are set up to make you lose or to make it difficult for you to have a good outcome or experience. This is going to be set up in a way, again, we've talked about the timing, wherever we land with the loot box prices and so on, it's going to be fully transparent for you. Have a plan. What is your approach? Are you getting, Illuvitars to hold on to them for the long term? Are you getting them for yourself, for your own flex? But come up with a plan. What are you intending to do? And then stick to it, and you won't have regrets at the end. I mean, maybe you'll wish that you got a different, a different Illuvitar, or you got a different expression. But like, you're not going to go back and kick yourself for what you did afterwards. If you have a plan going.
And I do have one thing. I have one advice: don't accessorize all of your Illuvitars. Accessorize the one that you want as your profile picture. And again, this is just pure speculation. I've said this multiple times. Not financial advice. All of that. I won't say my advice. Let me rephrase. What I plan to do is I plan to accessorize my Illuvitar, the one that I'm going to be presenting to everyone, Other than that, I'm keeping them clean as hell. I'm not going to touch them at all, just because I think in the next few years, I think having that set one clean is going to be way more valuable. Again, not financial advice. That's just what I am going to do. I think passing on a batch 1 Atlas in 2 years with a tier with a batch 15 accessory is going to be something that is scarce. Unless everyone does it. Unless everyone takes this advice, and everyone does this now. But
That's right.
Then my plan is ruined. But
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, again, this is not my advice to you. This is what I'm doing, and I'm sharing what I'm doing with you guys publicly. Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Well, TSG, this has been a lot of fun, mate. I really appreciate it. I think our audience is going to enjoy this one. And we wish all of you the best of luck with the Illuvitars. And if you've got any particular questions or feedback, let us know in the comments for this video. You know, what is that Illuvitar you're going for? We shared a little bit of our approaches for looking at the tier lists. If we get some comments on, I'll take that into account for the next version that I do. And really looking forward to seeing how this plays out in the future.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Now, thanks for having me, man. I really enjoyed this, and I've already said this off camera as well. But I'm looking forward to collaborate more and do more stuff with you. Again, I've said it at the start. I'll say it again. I'm super proud of what you're doing, man. You're absolutely killing it, and I really want to show you that love properly. Yeah,
appreciate that.
I think it's important.
Yeah, and so I would say for our audience, if any of you have stuck around this long, we appreciate it. If you aren't already subscribed, give us a subscription or like the video. Both of our channels, we'll have them in the description below, and we look forward to seeing you later, hopefully at the Illuvitar unboxing.
100%. Yeah, I'm sure we'll both be streaming. Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Thanks, guys.
Peace.